Hello. I wanted to try something a little different today because I was in a different space. I was in a different energy and I wanted to have a different experience, right? I have this amazing space here that's kind of like a canopy between two enormous trees. And so I'm going to try this out and see if this works. I'm not sure with the sound and the wind and everything how that's going to affect it, but I'm just going to give it a roll and see how that goes. This space between these two trees is like a room, and it's actually a room that I describe in my second book, and my second book, which is super epic. So if you ever get to that point in the book, this is actually what I'm referencing, and I have a big wood circle here that I'm sitting on that is kind of a dais, right? And so I have this incredible space that's almost like I said, the best way to describe it is like a room, right? And so I have these two trunks, that are on either side of me that I can kind of lean into their energy. I've always kind of identified these two trees as this one being male and this one being female. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's just the kind of experience and energy that I have exchanged with them and what I have experienced. So that's kind of how I identify them as like the chief of our property. Right? And the wonderful medicine woman that is here with us today, and that's just kind of the personalities that I've experienced from them. So anyways, this is kind of my special spot. This is where I come when nothing else in the world makes sense, where I want to get away when I just like need a minute, right? Like this is kind of like my secret place, I guess. It's I want to actually paint a big star or something cool on this circle that I sit on to kind of access, right? More of a portal. That's really something that I use in the Language of Light series. Melvin, the main character of those books, uses. Anyhow, so why am I doing this today? Why something different today, right? Yesterday was not great. Yesterday, John and I got in a big fight. Happens. Relationships are not always easy. And I have struggled with his energy of being counter to me often spending my time writing. And that is, I understand. I get it, right? Like they say, it's like being divorced because of when you're with someone who's that into something you're doing. I can just get very super, laser focused on that thing, and so I sometimes feel threatened by that, and I totally get it. And I need to be respectful of that and not lose him in the process, but at the same time, I do feel like a little more encouragement would be super beneficial when I'm so passionate about this, and it's really changing my world. But that also might be part of the problem too, right? John might see me changing and evolving and feel a little bit threatened by that because he doesn't know where I'm going, right? Because I'm like now in movement, right? I'm not just a stationary object that he can kind of count on where I'm going to be in the future. So that might be very threatening to him as well. Anyhow, yesterday was not a great day. Yesterday was not a great day. And so when emotional stuff like that for me comes up, it often will trigger dystonia, as it did yesterday, and then I'm a handicapped mess. So, I just had to be careful around that stuff, and that was tricky. That was really tricky, right? Because what are we all talking about here? What's being threatened? What are we working with, right? Everybody is protecting their security. John's trying to protect his security. I'm trying to protect mine. I'm trying to create a new life for myself, right? The problem with security and the concept, or rather illusion, of security is that it's up here. It's of the ego. It is seeking to deny what might be, not what is, but what might be in the future, right? And so it asks us to put up all these walls to block out potential outcomes. That's not living in abundance. That's nowhere near abundance. That's living in fear. That's living in chaos. That's setting up and calling forth chaos, future chaos, into our lives. Because security denies trust. Security says, or the need for security says, I do not trust you, Creator. I do not trust you. I'm going to take my future in my hands and take control of the situation. Right? That's where security pushes us to. What happens when we lose trust? So when we're in that need for security and we don't have trust in what is, what happens? When there's no trust and you have no access to trust, you lose your pathway to joy, don't you? Right? Because for me, that was what I discovered, wasn't it? That the road to joy was found through trusting 1,000% in what is. I am so grateful that I had the opportunity there in that level of consciousness for a few days. Again, I know what it feels like. And while I can't always get there every day, every minute of the day, I still know what it's like. That is huge. That is huge. Right? So, trying to get back there has been a journey. I've been there, right? Now I just got to get back there and not be in angst and be angry and be triggered and be in relationship drama and being denying, what is, right? And I found myself, especially yesterday, closed off, unavailable. Certainly unavailable to trust. I could not find that road. I could not find the road using trust to joy, which was the path that I had previously carved out for myself, right? So I was left with a new quandary and a new observation, right? So my new quandary, my new question was, if I can't take the well-known path of trust to joy, because that's unavailable to me today, what else do I have? What else do I have to work with? The other thing I found in that spot, I found that you can be in 1,000% trust and not be in joy. Because I actually managed to, just for the briefest second, hit 1,000% trust yesterday and still be sad. And that changed the landscape of my understanding around that, right? Because previous to that, I was always saying that you can't get to 1,000% trust without discovering joy for yourself, right? It's just not possible. Turns out it is, right? So that was new information for me. That was really exciting. And I felt like I discovered something that I cannot wait to chase after, which now is an understanding that there's a range of emotional experiences that you can have while still seated in 1,000% trust. So what does that look like? What does that mean? Like, I can't wait to go and, excavate that equation. It's so interesting to me. I honestly, that was brand new territory. Anyhow, I can't wait to get into that. But the point, where's the point? The point is that I found myself in a situation unable to access trust because I was closed off. I was needing security. I was shut down, right? In that place, I stopped and I asked the universe, okay, I don't seem to have any access to trust today. I don't seem to have access to trust, right? Because I'm all in this need for security today. I'm feeling very threatened, right? I'm feeling unsafe. Is there another tool that I can use, if not necessarily to get to joy, that I can use to at least start to crack myself open a little bit, right? Because I have this image of this child who's just like thrown himself into this like world where there's nothing but walls and nothing but security and nothing's getting in. Nothing. And that kid lives in here, right? And yesterday he was in control of saying, nope, 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 not safe. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I was surprised when the answer came back as wonder. Wonder, like childhood wonder, is the key to opening that closed equation. And while it may not get you fully to, all the way to joy, it's like one of those tools that they use to like open the lobster at a lobster dinner. Right? And so I found that I could use that tool of wonder to stab into that closed off steely place that held my heart. And that I could use childhood wonder to soften that need for security and safety and get into not only what is, but get into the right side of my brain, right? The right side of my brain that lives in music and symphonies and the writing of my books and the channeling of information and all of that off-grid stuff, right? And it's abandoning the left side of the mind that's in charge of this earthly schedule and the things that we need to get done, right? And money and like all this earthly crap that quite frankly, I don't give a care about. When I found that, the answer was wonder. I walked around my house. I'm like, what do I have access to in my house right now that can throw me into a state of wonder? In my second book of Foreign to Me, the second book is called Broken Like Me, right? And it's a real love letter to my relationship with John. And in that book, while channeling that book, the answer came to me. So I already kind of had it, right? I just had to bring it to the forefront of my mind. So I'm asking myself, what do I have in this house that can put me in wonder? You know what it took? The same thing that it took Jack when he goes into a gas station and sits against a wall. And all it takes, actually that's the second time it happens. The first time is in an abandoned building where he discovers wonder. Where he discovers wonder through sunshine hitting a marble that he has in his hand and the prism effect of it throwing up light, petals of light, I call that in the book, right, on all the walls. And it's that light shining in. You know, like that was all it took. Just that half second of awakening, of wonder, of like getting into the right side of your brain and abandoning the left because that's where complaint lives. and getting into the right side of the brain, right? The place of music and symphonies, and returning to that childhood wonder, right? So that's what it took for me yesterday, and I found a beam of light, excuse me, that was streaking through a window, and it was one of those moments where it was lighting up all the dust in the sunshine beam of light, right? And in that, it suddenly opened up this entire universe that I was looking into, right? And getting really close and getting down into a different perspective. I found wonder there in a beam of light that held, at least for me, the entire universe. Right? It was like, whoa! But it was like discovering something new and wonderful that lit me up in that way, right? That opened me up just a little bit, just a little bit, enough to have a crack in that metal armor. It was calling on safety. Part of my mood today is that I'm stuck in this place, in this world that is inhabited and ruled by complaint. Like, I'm kind of mad that I'm there, right? Because I want to be in here. I want to be in here. I want to be down here in this consciousness. And the fact that I lost that path momentarily, you know, I can find the blessings in that I know where the destination is now clearly. I can be grateful for that. But I'm a little pissed off that I'm not able to get there yet. I'm the most impatient person ever, right? And so I'm grateful that I know where I'm going. I'm grateful that I understand the mandate. I'm grateful that I understand where I'm going and that I've been there and that I kind of like tripped into it and fell into it by accident. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I want us all to get there, right? So that we can live a life without fear or the need for security. Thank you for today.